Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from the Black Business School and the Black Wealth Bootcamp. I was checking out this blog post written by Miss Stacey Dash. In case you don't know, Stacey's been involved in the controversy this week. She called out BET and also said that the Oscars weren't really racist, and that what's racist is when you have networks like BET that separate black people and a bunch of other stuff that I just can't remember everything she said, but it was crazy. It was very interesting. She kind of she got body slammed by a lot of people, rightfully so, because what she said just wasn't cool. The way she's positioned herself is just a little bit crazy. I only met Stacey one time. I was on a phone call with her. She seemed nice enough on the phone, so I don't know if she believes this stuff or doesn't. But that's her destiny right now. That's what she's doing right now. And anyway, she in her interesting back and forth with BET, apparently, when she criticized BET, people brought up the fact that she's gotten checks from BET, that she's made money from a lot of black media outlets like King Magazine, Beyond BET, etc. And now here's the thing that's interesting. While it's certainly hypocritical to take money from an organization and then criticize the organization, it's not as hypocritical as we want to believe, from first sight. I mean, how many times have you criticized an ex-boyfriend or an ex-girlfriend? And imagine if somebody said, well, how can you criticize that person when you chose to have a baby with that person? Or you chose to date that person? You were having sex with that person. How could they be that bad if you chose to be with them? Well, sometimes you change your mind. Sometimes you realize that this person isn't what you thought they were, or this person or the relationship falls apart. So that's what I kind of saw with the BET thing. I don't know what happened between BET and Stacey Dash, but I'm sure that the negotiations went bad or something happened. I think Stacey now is hustling. She's trying to position herself as a 50-year-old, former beauty queen. She's still very beautiful for the age of 50, but, as your career changes, you got to change too. And I think now she's looking for any opportunity she can get. I think her play is this, I want to be a black Ann Coulter kind of thing, which works really well for Ann Coulter. I'm sure Ann Coulter hauls in millions every year just by getting on TV and saying just ridiculous shit. Right now, what's interesting is I'm looking at this this whole thing, and what I'm processing too, which is really funny, is Stacey, the vitriol towards Stacey, again, deservedly so. I'm not a fan of Stacey Dash, but it's funny how when something black is attacked, we will defend that thing as if it's pure. So a lot of times you'll see, people, celebrities who never were friends to the black community, always screwed the black community, never gave a damn about the black community. But when they get attacked by white people, suddenly black people flock to their defense, just like an army of ants. We just sort of get up and we block and we protect the thing that we believe in because we're so mad that the white people are starting to attack it. You saw that with O.J. Simpson, for example. O.J. wasn't checking for black people before the O.J. Simpson trial. O.J. did not give a damn or a rat's ass about black people before the O.J. Simpson trial. But once he went on trial, every black person in America rallied behind him as if he was Nelson Mandela. Move forward. There are other examples, but the most recent might be Bill Cosby. If you go back a few years ago, before the sexual assault allegations, a lot of black people were upset with Bill Cosby because he had basically said that if you're black and you get shot in the back of the head over some pound cake, then the question should not be, why did the officer shoot the black man? The question should be, why were you running with the pound cake in your hand in the first place? And so some people thought Cosby was fine. They applauded him because he's giving money to HBCUs. He made some great shows for black people. Fat Albert was extraordinary. All these things he did, they showed his love for black people. We also kind of, contrasted with his lack of patience and tolerance for poor black people in particular, or black people he did not understand. So it was a very self-righteous kind of disposition, which showed, at the very least, in my opinion, that if you were black and you got in trouble and a bunch of white women were accusing you of rape, Cosby wouldn't say, let's go defend that black man. He would say, why were you raping white women in the first place? Why were you accused? If you weren't out here doing all this stuff, you wouldn't be in trouble in the first place. Based on Cosby's pound cake speech, that's what I suspect Cosby will say, because I have not seen any examples of Cosby speaking out or standing up for any injustice committed toward black people. But again, this is not about Bill Cosby. This is more so about the Stacey Dash BET thing. Now, flip it forward. Third example, BET. BET very clearly, let's make this real clear. BET is not a black-owned company. BET is not here to serve black people. BET is here to sell black people. That is a difference. You see, you have white-owned companies all throughout your community, a lot of media outlets, Black Voices, The Root, The Griot used to be owned by NBC, but I don't know who owns The Griot now. You keep going, some of these hip-hop magazines, etc. You have a long line of black media outlets that are not owned by black people, Essence Magazine, for example, that understand the black demographic, though. They want the black demographic. Now, how does this translation work? This is what we talk about in the Black Wealth Bootcamp and the business school and all this stuff, what I talk to my students about. So I'll give you a little bit of this and so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Basically, the model's very simple. We're Essence We want to buy Essence Magazine because they control the minds of black women. Black women are extraordinary consumers. So we get all the demographics on black women. We know how old they are, how much education they have, how much money they got, what they like to buy. And we go to corporations and we say, we own this audience of black women. And all we got to do is just feed them some black stuff. We'll let some black people kind of run that segment of the plantation, but we're the shareholders. We're the ones collecting the dough. And you go to corporations. Corporations pay you money to market their products to black women. If you're Time Inc., it adds to a portfolio of all kinds of media outlets you already own. So you can go to a corporation and say, we've got a whole suite of media options available to you to reach all kinds of demographics. You want to reach gay men? We got that magazine. You want to reach old women? We got that magazine. You want to reach couples with kids? Oh, we got this one too. Oh, you want black women? Oh, we got those over here, right? So that's kind of how this media stuff kind of works. BET is owned by Viacom, which had added BET to a portfolio of media outlets that it owns in a variety of different venues. But it is fine. It is what it is. It's capitalism. It's business. Who cares? Whatever. But the thing about it is that BET is not a black-owned company that you're defending. BET is a white-owned company that sells things to black people or uses the black audience to sell to corporations. They're run by the actual infrastructure of the company. It's run by black people who are selected by white people to control other black people. That's how it works, right? When BET gets out of line and they do something that is contrary to the interests of the corporation and the whites who own the corporation, they will walk in that office and say, sit your black ass down or get your black ass out because we're now changing the way things are going to happen in here, right? So, the thing is that BET, and again, you've heard me talk about BET in the past. Now, one thing I'll give them credit for is that they're not as horribly toxic as they used to be. The Hip Hop Awards, just come on. You got rappers up there rapping, convincing young black men to sell cocaine. What kind of genocidal crap is that, right? But beyond that, I think with the regular programming, BET is trying not to be as horrible as they used to be. You got to give them credit for that. But remember, the foundation of BET was built upon taking a whole generation of young black children and turning their brains into chitlin soup. Just turn their brains into complete mush, wasting an opportunity to build the next generation, and instead you profiting from that generation. But that was mostly under Bob Johnson. I think, honestly, with the corporate overseer, they're not as destructive as they used to be, but they're still not a black-owned company. So as you sort of analyze this whole thing with Stacey Dash versus BET, I understand a couple things. Number one, I think this is personal. I think Stacey's mad. Something happened. Maybe they fired her because she went on the set and started a temper tantrum. I heard Stacey's hard to work with, to be honest with you. I hear different things. I hear that she's not the most fun sometimes, but when I met her, she was very pleasant. I'll say that. And then BET, they're hating on her. Maybe saw this as a PR opportunity to kind of, clap back at her on Twitter and all this other stuff. That's fine. But just be real now. I mean, stop thinking that BET is some sort of media savior for black people. They're not. I mean, if you're waiting for white-owned companies to be your savior, then I feel sorry for you. You probably don't even belong on this channel. You need to go over to Tommy Sotomayor or somebody where it's just some black person who just is on another page, because this is not really what I talk about. So at the end of the day, that's my breakdown of the whole thing. I think Stacey she's good. I think she's continuing this back and forth with BET because that's good publicity for her. This is the most attention that Stacey's gotten in a very long time. So she just wrote a blog post firing back at BET. But once again, I think it's personal, but it's partly business. The business side is, if I keep talking about this, keep this going, people will pay attention to me. But the personal side is, I'm still mad at y'all because y'all let me go or something happened with the negotiation. That's my breakdown of Stacey Dash versus BET. But as far as defending BET, come on. I think that you can defend an idea without defending a particular person or thing. Right? So for example, you can defend, you look at the Bill Cosby thing. You can defend Cosby's right to fairness. You can defend the fact that there isn't much evidence, or that it could be a conspiracy, an organized lie, as some people might say, I don't know, or the fact that statute of limitations is over. You can defend all of that without having to run around saying there's no way Bill Cosby ever did anything wrong to anybody. I think you can do that. So just focus on the idea, not falling in love with BET, because no, I mean, come on now, give me a break. All right, anyway, that's it. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins for the Black Business School and the Black Wealth Bootcamp. Please tell me what you think. I look forward to hearing. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good day. Bye-bye.